hello and welcome. I'm the Restless Kaiser.
I'm Johnny B.
And I'm Scarnier or Dwayne.
Oh, so enthusiastic tonight, guys. But together we are
modelling for
advantage.
All right,
oosh.
With the guys in the chat, fucking oosh, as John said. Yep, get the bad language in there right at the beginning. Okay,
yeah, that's why I went oosh.
Axe and Axe is ever catching us in a rerun. Ian Harrison says, "Good morning from Oz."
Good morning, sir.
On 69 is here. Charles the Torah. He's in sunny but cool San Diego. Very nice. Crossing Obstacles Gaming. Hello there. Rich John, O Group painting tonight. What are you up to, mate? Which faction you painting? Charles the Torah is, I was just saying hello. And Subs is painting his World War II Desert Rats and gonna start Bolt Action Gentleman's War. Very nice. Nick from Team Clueless Games is around. West Front set out for the mighty endeavor. East Front action starts turn 6 or 7. Is this like an ancient hex and counter game? North Cape World War II convoys. Interesting. Any good rules for steampunk British versus Martians?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Fistful of Lead he's really into his steampunk stuff. I'm sure he's got something. And he's building ironclad minis from Selwig. Nice. 15mm German infantry flames of war. If it's that hard plastic stuff, it's a great sprue. And we are hiding in a bunker, says Alan. No painting tonight, has had to go back to work. Boo. Tony Holton's there. Friends of General Haig is here, and Paul Parker is here. Right. So that's the chat. Hobby wise, I'm going to be moving around a little bit tonight, depending, but I am continuing to work on these TT combat buildings that Saffron 69 built for us, getting the base colors on these because it's MDF. There's a lot of painting to do.
Yeah, man.
To just get the base colors on. Scania, what you up to?
I am painting up some mechs from the Wolves Dragoon box set, which is a star of 5 mechs. I'm just getting some prime on. I have an Archer, I have an Annihilator, and a few of them, some mechs.
Oh, you play that game, do you?
Just a bit.
Oh, sweet. And what am I doing? I'm doing the things. I'm slap chopping tonight, but we'll get onto that a little bit later. And I'm also painting a secret special commission for Grafenau Games.
Secret special commission.
But anyways, we have a beautiful guest, not just any guest. It's Scarnier of the Classic Craic. But why don't you tell our beautiful viewers who you are, what you're about?
Who I am and what I'm about. I'm Scarnier, if you know me from my 40k Orc days, or Dwayne, if you know me from Battletech mostly. And I run a channel which every now and then will grace you with a random video of 40k, and it seems to be more focused towards Battletech, as that's what I'm playing and I'm enjoying playing, and I've been enjoying organizing gaming nights and helping the hobby grow and having a bit of crack. You know yourself.
That's very nice indeed. So Dwayne, you're not at home, mate. You're in somebody else's pad there. So
this is the hobby git. My friend Dim. He's one of the other war bosses. I do be on.
That's Dim.
It's Dim's place. I mean, I've invaded Old Blighty and I've taken over residence temporarily of the north of England. I've taken over his hobby space. But yeah, I'm over. I've just flown in this morning actually, functioning on about 3 hours sleep.
Wow.
Severely dehydrated and hungover from the weekend in Limerick. I was at a tournament, a Battletech tournament, the Irish Nationals, that was held in Thomond Park, which is the rugby stadium in Limerick itself. I was there enjoying myself. It was great crack on the Sunday, and you know yourself.
A drinking tournament, or
well, not while the games. Well, actually, yeah, there's a few people having a few points during the games. Actually, to be honest with you, near the end, and yeah, no, it's good crack. Limerick's I like Limerick City. It's a nice place to visit. It's a few counties over for where I am. I'm from Dublin, which is the capital, the big smoke, you know yourself.
I mean, I hope most people know that. I hope they do.
Well, if not, they're being
you never
educated.
know, right?
You never know. You know, you always cover the bases. But yeah, I'm from Dublin myself, and I like traveling down to Limerick. There's Gary Jackson runs his gaming store down there, the Gathering in Limerick, and they've got they run some decent tournaments. Himself, John Summers, Tony as well. These lads have been running BattleTech since back in the day. I think they've been doing it for like 25 years now. So, and they get a good few people in internationally. There's a few lads that come in from England, Germany, the odd Scot or two. I think there was Spanish there. The Welsh do make a showing as well. So it's it's good crack. I enjoy it. It's an interesting format, something different I never came across before, where it's pre-generated pairings that you'll play. It'll be 2 mechs that you'll pick from each round. There's usually 4 rounds and various technology levels or various eras to play from. So you get a taste of everything, and it's sort of it challenges the player instead of it just being who's the best at building a list with the most optimum units. It's sort of, you know, trying to test your own sort of skill level with the list they give you. So it's good.
Also, you don't know what models you're going to need until you get there.
No, so what will happen usually is when they organize the event, the listings will be sent out a couple of months in advance. So you'll be able to like play test them yourself, go through the pairings and try them out and see what play styles you do or don't like. So I got a few practice rounds in with some of the lads in Dublin. Between our gaming nights that we run, myself and a few of the lads run a gaming night there for BattleTech every couple of weeks.
Yes.
So you get a chance to try them out, and then you can buy yourself some minis and just get stuff painted up. It's like you're going to need 2 mechs each round. So what's that? That's 8 miniatures for a tournament if you want the exact ones. So it's you know, it's not a heavy paint workload. You know, you could do it. You can bang it out. It's part of why I like the game. You know,
but it's interesting to hear you're saying this is the Irish Nationals, right?
Yeah. This one was the Irish Nationals.
I mean, you know, I don't want to sound rude. I'm impressed that there is enough players to warrant it. I didn't think BattleTech is a game you think like a lot of people have got a lot of love for it, but not necessarily play it.
Well, it's surprisingly because I think BattleTech is probably the most popular right now than it's ever been, because the figures that the company Catalyst themselves are given for the print runs of the box sets that they're doing, they're printing hundreds of thousands of box sets. Like they're printing quite a lot. I think they're printing more now of the games that they have than they have previously.
Really? So it's growing. It's not like
exponentially.
Flash in the pan.
No. It's like it's grown quite a lot. Like in Europe, I'd say like its major fan base is the Germans. The Germans are absolutely mad for BattleTech. You know, very well organized, and there's an up and coming sort of tournament scene that's coming in, and I'll be looking to do an open tournament myself in Dublin next year. I'll be starting
run one yourself.
Yeah, run one myself with the help of the guys who've been running the tournaments for the last 25 years. They're going to give me a hand, and then we're going to bounce it back and forth between Limerick and Dublin, and just try and get more people involved, you know, grow the hobby and enjoy it. And it's nice. I like the community that's in the game. Like you know, with other games you might hear, you know, the tournament scene, people may be, you know, less than friendly. But I found with BattleTech it's been good crack. It's a good community. There's a good vibe off it. Like, you know what I mean? It's good. It's nice.
Which is good to know, right? Because if it's not a huge community, people need to get on.
Yeah, but it's growing, like, you know, like our gaming nights, you know, we get 14 or 16 players on really good nights playing BattleTech, everyone getting games going, or 8 or 10 on the bad nights, you know, it just depends when people are available, you know how life is. But we'll probably have 30 something players, but it's just people rotating out, you know, some people can make days, some people can't, but it's about, just getting the game out there. And organizing things, you know, getting the boots on the ground, you know, yourself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really cool.
And as an organizer, you've got to hold on to that enthusiasm, right? As a kind of a community leader, because all of these things they have dips and peaks.
Ah, yeah, of course, yeah. That's
But
you
need
need
that cadre keeping it going.
Yeah, exactly. You really do. Like, because I find it funny with the likes of, like, a lot of gamers. You'll talk to them and ask them what games they play, and they're like, "Oh, I'm into," like, the amount of lads I've talked to who've been like, "I'm into bolt action," but nobody, you know, I can't really find anyone in the area that plays it. And I keep saying to them, I'm like, "You
I
need
met
to,
2 last week."
yeah, you just need to light a fire under your arse, like, and just, you know, establish. You know what I mean? But I think that's the thing, is everybody wants to play, but nobody wants to. It's a lot. It's a big ask to organize things. You know what I mean? And I don't think everyone has the time or the energy, which is understandable, to actually pull things together. And it's only then that people realize, because that's happened a lot with BattleTech. It's like, oh, you know, people only a stone's throw away from you, or, you know, around the corner. Oh, I play BattleTech as well. It's like, you know, or you wouldn't cross paths otherwise normally, because people from all walks of life.
And this is where local stores remain so important, right? Because they're the only places you're likely to meet these people.
Well, that's it. Like, if you're playing in a local store and you've got your miniatures and it's looking nice, the amount of people who come up to you and go, "Oh my god," you know, other people play this game I'm into. You know what I mean? It's it's always fun. I do enjoy that. Yeah, no, it's good crack. I'm enjoying it. I'm having great fun with it. Looking forward to doing more battle reports. I've done 1 or 2, but I really want to kick that into high gear a bit. Over the Christmas period, I'll be doing. I did last year. I did 1 video every day for a Christmas advent calendar, where I just sort of get
Did you unbox? They have like a blister pack type situation, don't
they? They're blind boxes, so you can buy like a blister pack, and they're not normally around 10 quid or 8 quid or something like that, depending who you get them off of. But I did that last year, and I'll be doing it again this year. So I'll be going through a video a day, and yeah, it'd be good crack. Now the BattleTech Savage Box Advent Calendar, you know yourself.
Sweet. I'll just catch up with the chat, guys, if that's all right.
Yes, there's been some good comments in there.
Yeah. So Rich John says he's gone for US. I got British, German, and French Partisan for bolt action. French Partisans, are they the Warlord metal ones, or are they the War Games Atlantic plastic? I'll be interested to know. From Dalton, Steampunk Martians, while a game sci-fi can be knocked into any shape. Yeah, I think that's what I said. Subs, Red Dawn is a bit of a damp squib, so my hobby money has gone towards more bolt action. It's niche. I've got it's niche. I looked at the range. I like it because it's not something I thought that they would do, because it's relatively small scale. Because the Red Dawn is fundamentally Soviet era airborne troops. It's a couple of vehicle kits and some new infantry sculpts. And the way that they're really struggling to keep their smaller ranges going, like their mid-war infantry, for example. So I was quite surprised that they would do something as niche as that. But what I really like about Team Yankees, how they keep pushing the sci-fi end, that it's based upon novels, not real wars, because a lot of that stuff, it's just too modern for me to be hugely comfortable with, personally. And I know, like a lot of war gamers are not that keen on modern stuff. It's like, no, but this is kind of fictional modern stuff. So I like that they're leaning into that a lot more, personally. Brad Durso says, what does the same slap chop mean? I'm going to go through the other comments, then we're going to come back to this. All right, John?
Yeah, man.
Because we were going to talk a bit about slap chop tonight, because it's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
French General Haig, 28mm Finnish cavalry underway, 1620s. Interesting. Dear me.
1620.
Crossing obstacles, painting. He's polishing World War II cavalry.
Polishing them.
So is it Alpha Strike played the most, or is it classic?
It depends in your region. From what I gather, most of the games played in my area, and most of the games that I've come across that people are talking about playing it seems to be the classic game. But like we ran we ran games over in October, one of the conventions, and we did 2 to 3 days were classic, just big participation games, and the last day we did a big Alpha Strike game as well. So it's not either or, you know what I mean? You can mix it up a bit.
Yeah,
but mostly classic.
He did say before the show that Alpha Strike was for peasants, though.
The less sophisticated wargamer, yes. Well, that's just my taste. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I'm going to go and play a game, if I have a choice between the two, I prefer to go for the original, the classic. You know what I mean? It's like being given a choice between a Coke and a Coke Zero. It's like, come on, let's be real here.
Okay. Horses for ghosts, right? 40k players seem to be moving away to bolt action and BattleTech and a few themes of War Team Yankee. Yeah, I mean, I've seen. I don't know if any of you guys follow Morty and Glory. He's died in the World Warhammer Imperial Guard channel, and about a year and a half ago, he picked up bolt action, and it seems to be 50% of his channel now. I think bolt action is a great gateway drug into historicals because it's 40k light as a rule system, and 40k could do with being lighter. And it's so much cheaper to play. I played my first BattleTech game in the mid-90s and just bought myself a box of 5 mechs. I think you and a million other people crossing obstacles gaming.
Nice.
Friends General Haig, collect 2 armies for anything that you want to play. Absolutely. And then paint them.
Yeah. You need to be painted. You need that eye candy drawn people in. You really do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it. People want to play with your models, and if you're trying to get a game or something, that's a great way of finding someone. Chance to Top Fighting Sale. I'm trying to remember. Is that like an old WRG game? Anyway, let's go back to the slap chop question, because I think that is a good question. Whose question was it? It was Brad Durso. So Johnny, you're the pro painter. What does the term slap chop mean? I've seen it in a few video tags later. Never used the term before. Go on, tell it, learn them.
Yeah, well, no, it's true. I've only just heard of it recently as well, but essentially it is, what did we say? Pre-shading the miniature, which is also zenithal or whatever. It's the same sort of shizzle, and then using contrast paints or the other various versions that are about of that now. You know, you've got Army Painter. Vallejo has just brought out a range of quick and fast paints. I don't know what they're called, or they're coming out soon anyways. But yeah, everyone's jumping on this one coat bandwagon. Yeah. But yeah, slap chop seems to have been the trending term for essentially what already exists. So there you go.
Just to clarify it a bit more, Dwayne, for those people that, you know, looking at us and Zenithal was the term last year that I didn't know what it meant either. What are we talking about when we talk about this pre-shading, Dwayne?
So with your contrast paints, the whole premise behind them is like when you do your base coat and then you put the paint on, it's supposed to highlight for you. So the pigments go into the recesses and shade them darker, and the more pronounced areas like the edges and stuff will be left with less pigment, so they're lighter. So what the whole slap chop thing is, you're accentuating that highlight even more by priming the miniature in a darker color. So you might start with a black and then build your way up to a gray, and then maybe again doing a very final highlight on the upper parts with a white. And usually it's like the zenithal highlighting, where you're trying to leave the black on the undermost parts, and when you're doing the highlights, you're trying to make it on the parts where light would hit. So slap chop is basically, you're doing zenithal highlighting, and then you're putting the contrast on. And the whole thing with it is that it accentuates that highlight that the contrast style paints naturally do themselves. So the whole terminology of slap chop was one of these TV products for cutting up vegetables, and it was a device where you just slap it and it, like, the blades came down and chopped it up.
Is that what they've, right? So
that's what it comes from. Yeah. So it's supposed to, It's basically sort of like slang terminology for quick and easy, get them out quick, and they look decent. So this whole slap chop thing it was a product for the young vegetables, and that's where the name comes from. But it's basically pre-shading and the contrast paint combination. This new terminology has come out, and this is what's sticking. But that's what it is.
So if you've not tried it before at all and are thinking about giving it a go, at its very simplest level, you get yourself 3 rattle cans. You get a black, a grey, and a white. You spray it black. You then spray it grey from the top. You then spray it from a distance with the white. And that's going to give you that kind of effect, right?
Yeah. You can do it with spray paints, or when I do it, I actually do it by brush as well.
I've done that this time as well.
So the other good thing is you can use techniques that you might consider a bit cheeky, like dry brush it, right?
Yeah.
Spray it. You spray it a mid-tone grey, and then you get a lighter grey, and you dry brush it, and then you get a very light grey or a white, and then you dry brush it again. But it all is designed to work. It does work with regular paints, right? But it's so much more pronounced with the contrast type style paints.
And faster.
And that's the final thing with slap chop that I think, which we haven't mentioned, is the expectation is you are going no further. Is when you put that layer of contrast paints on, you're not going to go back and do touch up highlights. You put your highlights in before you put your contrast paint on.
Yeah, just to accentuate what they're already meant to do. That's awesome, Dwayne. I didn't know that it was all based off of those crazy devices that you slap on an apple or whatever.
Yeah, because it's a weird terminology. Like, some of my friends absolutely hate it because they're like, this technique has already existed. It's just been given a weird name because of the combination. But I find it amusing. Like, I think it's funny when things like this sort of come into existence. Just the term and where it came from.
And they're everywhere, aren't they? For a little
same
while.
Shit, different name.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, it's 2 things that have already existed in the hobby being combined together and given a different name.
But there you go. And that's what happens when you get old. You've seen it. You've done it. But the new guys are coming in and giving it a funky new name. Brad Durst says thank you as well.
So John did
explanation. I did a thing. I did do a thing.
Did a thing. So tell him, John.
And I did a thing, and it's off the back of another thing I did, which we'll also cover. But off of the other thing I did, which was paint some miniatures, Graham Davey of Grateful Now Games commented and said, "Oh, that's a marvelous job." And I cheekily said, "Well, Graham, if you want me to do any work for you, mate, just hit me up." And he responded. So yeah, he sent me my first commission through, one of which was this awesome miniature of Queen Elizabeth, princess actually at the time, in her auxiliary territorial service outfit. I think that's what it is, ATS. And he gave me a month to do it, this commission, including the 3 in front of me, but he wanted to get it out early for Remembrance Day. And hopefully, I don't know how well he's done so far, but the sale of this miniature, all profits are going to be donated to military charities. So I think that's pretty cool of what he's done there. And I put some poppies on the base. Poppies.
And it's a pretty good likeness of her, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool sculpt. This one was a 3D print, and I was impressed with the quality of it.
So if you want to get this miniature, then it's on Grey for Now Games. Is that right?
It is on Grey for Now Games, but it's sort of hidden in the 0200 section. If you go to the miniatures of the 0200 section and then scroll down to the bottom, it's available there. It's £4.50, I think. And the model itself is going to be metal when you purchase it. But yeah, it's lovely.
So you got one of the kind of
I got a prototype. Yeah. But no, this is available in metal. So
and it's all going. All the profits are going to charity, which is awesome.
All profits. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to hearing if how much he's made for that. If he shares that information, who knows?
Yeah.
But that's cool.
So you said this came off the back of something. So Graham Davey, Grey for Now Games, if you're not keeping up, He's done 0200 recently, but he's also one of he co-wrote with Andy Chambers, not Andy Chambers.
All of them, all the workshop.
The other guy, the guy from, oh gosh, Mortal God.
Paul Sawyer, Rick Priestley, who?
No. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
That didn't help, did it?
But he co-wrote Test of Honor. But anyway,
yeah, that
got this commission on the back of, that's going the wrong way, on the back of this commission.
Boom, which wasn't actually a commission. It was a painting competition. Yes, which I didn't know about. I randomly posted a picture of some of my finished SAS miniatures, and War Games Atlantic commented and said, "Oh, you should enter our competition." I'm like, "What competition?" Yeah, they ran a competition because
like a lot of people take miniatures and post their pictures on Facebook. You don't read the Facebook pages where they're just places where you show your pictures.
Exactly, yeah. For validation, that's it. Yeah. That's the only reason I do it. I want people to tell me that I can paint without just knowing that I can. But yeah, so I did it, and I sent them across some pictures, and it was awesome. Then I pilfered the last sprue of German sentries off of Kaiser because he hadn't finished making them. So I stole them, and I painted these as well, just on a whim, because they extended the deadline as well by a week. So it gave me enough time to paint these boys up. And yeah, and I won. Yeah.
So that box art is is the models you painted?
That's my miniatures. Well, technically your miniatures with my painting.
Yeah. And these too?
Yeah. SAS, yeah, there you go. You've seen most of them. No, you haven't. I haven't used them yet on camera. But yeah, the SAS box, they wanted me to do a few more, so I had to crank up another 4. The Bren Gunner there and the 2 Red Berets, they were new. And the other helmet dude with the SMG, they were like, can you, do a bit more variation?
Half a dozen for our tester game of 0200.
Exactly. I'd already painted 6
for
that, but they all had the woolly caps, and one of them had a green beret.
Yeah.
So I did a few more. I stole
different to your paras and stuff.
Exactly. I stole the scenic thing off of Jason Froud from Painting Nights. So he's going to get himself a little box of conquistadors.
Oh, right. Because for the competition, you won a load of minis.
Competition. So for each one, they offered 8 boxes of War Games Atlantic miniatures. So, and I won both. Woo! So I've got 16 boxes of War Games Atlantic miniatures pending to go on the massive piles of other plastic that I have. Woo!
That you haven't painted. Yeah. So that's terrifying. So the War Games Atlantic stuff, if you've not seen it, in relation to, I don't think we've reviewed any of the sprues. Actually, did we do an unboxing of 0200? We must have done.
We've done, yeah, we did.
But the War Games Atlantic sprues, they're a bit. I would put them between Warlord and Perry in terms of size and scale, and sort of true to scale. They're bigger than the Perry ones, and they're a bit easier to work with. But they're not that kind of chunky, semi-heroic scale that you get at a Warlord. I like the Warlord stuff because it's really easy to work with. It's like the bigger the army is, the more of it there is to glue onto the dude.
Exactly.
The easier that is. And there were definitely some fiddly bits. Like for me, I don't know how you found it, John, but things like the dog lead, I found there's a bit.
Well, you'll notice that I didn't put the lead anywhere near the dog. The dog was separate.
Right.
So I didn't do that. I just made 2 dogs, and they're running loose.
Running
the little what are they called? The Fel Gendarme little doofer plate.
Gorgeous.
The Gorget, that was fiddly. Well. And thanks to Kaiser building some and painting some before, I had a bit of knowledge that they don't really fit perfectly with all of the pieces. So I found the ones that didn't have webbing, I think it was.
Right.
And I used those, so they fit underneath the epaulets, or whatever they're called, the little shoulder button things.
Epaulets? No, they're not. They're
no, what are they called? Whatever. The little thing
tell us.
On top of the shoulder. So yeah, you got to be mindful of that. But yeah, 4 of them though in this new kit where they've reboxed them. 40 centuries. Jesus,
40.
good luck at getting in there. Or out of there.
Yeah.
Although 10 of them are dogs. 10 of them are dogs. It says it right there. There's 30 Germans, 10 of which are Alsatians. So treat thyself.
30 Germans and 10 dogs. All right. That's maybe not quite as bad as it sounded at first.
No.
In terms of money to paint. Yeah, so that's those. So well done, John. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's just talks about Slap Chop. Answer. Brad was happy with learning about the history of the vegetable name.
Me too.
I think we all were.
Yeah.
Vallejo reached express color this very day.
That's what it is.
See, look, Andy's well connected. He knows what's going on.
He knows what's going on, Andy.
They're not directly available in the UK, but they suggest people contact their local stockists. Not direct. You can't buy direct from Vallejo because they're Spanish, presumably. And posting liquids internationally or even just nationally is an issue, isn't it? But I expect they'll start appearing in hobby stores because a lot of us military modeling people, we love Vallejo because they do the right colors.
They do some schmexy colors.
50 shades of gray. Mate, I need 90 at least.
Yeah, 90, just slightly different shades.
Yeah.
I wonder if, I don't know if Andy's still about, the Express Color range, are any of them military colors? Because that's one thing about the contrast to the army painters. They're very
do they do a field grey?
Do you know what I mean? If they do a field grey in Express Color, you're...
Mate, they better make 1 million bottles of that to do that, yeah.
Because that's going to speed up.
Nick from Team Clueless Games says he's ordered the Queenie model.
Oh, well done, sir.
Nice.
Yeah. John will paint you one exactly as it appears in the box art for 50 quid, right?
I will not, but I will give you a signed copy of that picture for your reference for £50.
Very nice work, Princess Liz, Johnny B. Yeah.
Thank you.
If there isn't a CB at the very least in New Year's honours for JB, then there's no justice.
I agree.
Yeah,
there is no justice.
You're not a factory donor, though, are you, John? You're not going to get that. Cross Obstacles Gaming is on his way out. Mini Walmart is on his way in, and Tony Helton, 10 dogs. Who let the dogs out?
Now they seem to love their dogs because there's another kit which I'm getting. One of the first boxes I ordered was the Dark Age Irish because I need them in my life, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of Scaniers to attack my enemies and crush them. But they've got like 10 war dogs in that kit, 40 miniatures, but they're like big Irish wolfhounds, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I was about to ask wolfhounds. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Man. So that's going to be cool.
You paint them up.
And I love what the blurb on the back of the thing is like. The Irish wore pants pretty much forever. In their military history, they didn't change from biblical times up until the 20th century. They ran around in pants. Is basically what they say on the box. So there must be some truth behind that, right?
I mean, if it works, why change it?
What pants as opposed to what? I'm not following you, John.
Opposed to, like, you know, evolving with the times, wearing armor, you know, changing your style of warfare. The Irish stayed in their pants and ran at the enemy and beat them up.
Well, yeah, that happened. A lot of the weapons that would be phased out in the rest of Europe sort of hung around a lot longer. In Ireland, we tend to grow fond of you know, outdated stuff and put it to use.
Well, if it works, you know, why? Brick on a stick is just as valid now as it was back in the day.
You still get 18th century troops with javelins and stuff, don't you, in Irish forces?
Yeah,
because it's a spear, and if it goes in you, mate, it's gonna sting.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. All right. So where was I? So Scotty, in your other life as a YouTuber, you're over here in the UK, mate.
I am.
What's the story?
What's the crack, Scotty?
What's the crack, mate?
I'm on a top secret mission that I can't delve into too much information about, but it involves other YouTubers. Some form of conflict in the 40k universe is arising, and me being the Blood Axe orc player, I need to knock some heads and put them in order and give them a good kicking.
This is cool. So this is a big old collaboration game, is it?
Something like that. Something like that. Can't be giving the secrets out now. Can't be giving the
secrets out. True. I'm just trying.
There might be some videos, you know, being made, some content being recorded. There might be, but you know,
loose lips
sink ships. You know what I mean? So
loose lips,
Johnny
sink
B,
ships,
snap ships.
Facts. Yeah, Johnny B snap ships. That's a great moment for.
Oh man, I love that short. Just the face. it was brilliant.
If you haven't seen it, we've got a lot of really boring YouTube shorts as we try and figure out what to do with it. But the one good one, the best one, is the moment during a recording, reviewing some shits with bendy resin. John just clean snaps one in half in front of the camera.
Because I'm an idiot.
Realizes what he's done. And he looks like a little kid who's been caught with his hand in the fridge.
And I don't think I knew that well at that point. And I just, Kaiser's just offered... opening his product that he's paid with his own money, and I just snapped the damn thing. I mean, what the?
Yeah, like a kid with a shatterproof ruler,
Yeah.
Well,
exactly. It's like if you're telling someone it's going to be bendy resin, it's bound to happen. Come on.
Yeah.
Got to bend them, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So the BattleTech tournament, then let's go a little bit back to that as you said, because and tournaments in general, because I think you sort of touched on it, but a lot of people have maybe thought about tournaments and maybe tried them, and maybe they've got a bit stung by it. I've definitely tried a couple of times, thought, this is not for me. Then a few years later, I'm going to have another go at this.
Another bash.
Nah, this is still not for me, But you're saying like in the so you've described in a kind of tournament, a competitive scene that's a lot better. And so how does it work?
Well, yeah, I describe the tournament scene as being approachable. It's very easy to get into. You know what I mean? Like I've been on, how many tournaments have I been to now? Like 3 or something like that, I think. Yeah. So there was the European tournaments, and then this is the second Irish Nationals that I went to.
Crazy.
And I'm looking to probably maybe travel abroad for some next year. And like this is in direct contrast to how it was when I was playing 40k, where I dabbled many moons ago and just didn't enjoy it as much. But it's very approachable, this one. The community, they're really sound. I've yet to meet a bad egg, but you know yourself. There's the ratio of sound to non-sound people is skewed pretty positively. But like the format is interesting. Normally it's like it'll be a one-day event. And from what I understand, the format is the same in like if they're doing it in Germany or in England or in Wales or Scotland, or the Spanish are doing it, and I think the Polish are starting something as well. Where there'll be a set number of rounds. There'll be usually 4 rounds. 3 to 4 rounds. You're usually playing about an hour and a half each, and there's a whole points system. So it's based on damage output. You're trying to get kills. So each mech is worth so many BV. The more damage you do to it, the more of that value you'll earn in points. If you kill something straight up, then you earn the most points for it. And yeah, there's a sheet to calculate it out. I've gone through it before. It's pretty interesting. And it goes through sort of like a Swiss pairing system, I believe it is, where it's as you go through the tournament, you'll get like skill level people.
If you're crap, you don't keep getting hammered all day. You play other people who've lost all their games until you reach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So your most balanced game would literally be like probably the last round that you get. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's good crack. They'll mix things up. There'll be like different tables and different maps set up. And then when you're playing, you're rolling you roll to see who gets which side. You roll to see who wins initiative, and whoever loses has to come on first, and then you counter each other. There's one reroll per round. So if you ever get like headshot straight off the bat, you have one reroll you can use for yourself or force your opponent to reroll. So like if he shoots you in the head, you might use your reroll.
Reroll.
That's different.
You might use your one reroll to get him to reroll it again. And if it's another head cap, which I've had happen to me, it's like, look, it was meant to be at that stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't deny the fates, but it's good. It is. It's very good.
So let's talk about this before you move too much further. The scoring system about damage output. Are we talking like, I don't know, how is it done, on tonnage, or is it done on damage?
So be done on damage to the mech. So what you're doing is the scoring system will award you a percentage of that mech's value. So each of the rounds there'll be 5 mechs. So usually the way it is there'll be 2 mechs that are paired up with 3 of the other mechs. So it's basically 2. Yeah, you'll have 6 of them altogether, and then they'll already have their battle value calculated and balanced so that the tournament organizer has them so that they're all matched up battle value wise.
Okay.
And then when you're doing damage, you'll be earning points, for instance, for if you hit a location and you do some armor damage. You like that might be 1 point. Whereas if you do some internal damage to it, you'll earn 2 points. You know, if you do critical damage and you start blowing limbs off, you're going to earn a larger percentage of that mech's value in victory points. So that's what you're doing when you're fighting. You're trying to build up your percentage. If you get a kill, that's 100% of what that mech's worth. And then you're able to sort of tell. I've played it a few times now, so if it gets down to the wire, which is what's actually quite happened out of the 4 rounds, like the games were very close. The last game worked badly for me, but like the first 3 rounds, they were down to the wire, like down to the last turn. It was very hard fought. Like,
does it come down to like how many heat sinks you've knocked out in the end? You know, you're like half a point.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. Like that will have an effect in the game. Like you can tell. I can kind of look at 2 mechs that are left and kind of gauge, you know, who's got the lean on someone else. Like sometimes you'll know straight away. You know, if one guy's only got some armor done and the other guy's missing half the mech, you're gonna know how many points that's going to be worth. But then it also what percentage each mech. It's not just some rounds. It's not just 50-50 between the 2 mechs that are being used. One might be more points, more of your you know, it might be 60% of the points, and the other guy is only 40%. So there's usually like there's a heavier mech and a lighter mech. You know what I mean? So you might get a kill on the light guy, but if you don't do enough damage to the other dude's heavier mech that's worth more of the points, you may not get it. You know what I mean? Like if he does enough damage to your...
Just if you blew up an entire mech doesn't necessarily mean you've won. It's not like our games of Tank Ace, which is done.
Yeah. Well, isn't that like when you say you've got a lighter and a heavier mech? You know, the danger is the game is won by blowing up the light mech because it isn't long enough to blow up the big one. So this is a hard counter to that.
Well, that's the thing. Like you're trying to outmaneuver then. So like it might be easier to hit the heavy mech, but he's got more armor, whereas the light mech may not be able to take more damage. But if your opponent's smart, he's using his maneuverability to make it harder to hit him. To hit numbers that you need might be harder. You know what I mean? So you're trying to gauge. You know, if I shoot at this mech, what am I going to get more hits, or if I shoot at the mech that I've already done damage to, am I more likely to cripple or kill him? You know, there's a lot of that going on. It's very strategic.
That's pretty cool. That sounds good.
Now, normally I've been listening to this and thinking this sounds pretty bean county. You're scoring based upon damage and so forth. We have been attacked by the porn spam bots, by the way. So if anyone,
I did, but it's all right. Tony Holt,
beautiful girls here, mate. That's it. That's what you can see, right?
Don't click the links, whatever you do.
Don't click the links. Yeah. So that's Tony Holton said. There's no beautiful girls here, just old farts. But what I would say, in kind of almost to counter my own initial criticism of that is, if you're not up for kind of scoring points and counting and so forth as you go, you're probably not playing BattleTech because BattleTech, you've got damage. You know, there's already a lot of record keeping in the game.
Well, yeah, it especially like from the outside looking in, it seems like a lot, but it's a case of like when you're playing the game, you know, enough, you know, if somebody rolls the hit location now, like I know the hit location chart off by heart, you know what I mean? It's just you learn parts of it, so.
Yeah,
it looks steep enough initially, but like, you know, the point scoring, the judges will do the point scoring for you. Like I have in previous tournaments, we've sat down and you do your opponents and he does yours or whatever, and you agree. But like the judges do it as well. Like they go over it, so you don't need to worry if you're only new to the game. You don't need to worry. It's just like you'll play the game, and if there's new players as well, like you don't want to be coming down hard on them, because that's the type of community it is. It's like, yeah, you're playing in a tournament, but at the same time, it's like you're there to enjoy the experience yourself. You know what I mean? And
yeah, that's really good. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and for some people, which is the bit that always sort of bogged me a little bit about it, it's especially Warhammer tournaments, right? Let's say it how it is.
Yeah, the elephant in the room, yeah.
Yeah, for a lot of people, tournaments, they go to tournaments because they can't necessarily get games. And they go, you know, it's like, okay, so if I pay for a ticket here and I go there, I'll get 6 games in across the weekend.
Yeah,
and I got something to work towards. Like, you know, I'm a bit of a solo hobbyist in my community that do that. And then they have those kind of awful experiences of that. But like you said it's quite different in the BattleTech crew.
Yeah, the community, as I've experienced it, it's been a net positive. I haven't had bad experiences. Like, and that's not just our bias. That's me being honest. Like, like I said, the fact that I'm actually going to 3 tournaments in a year speaks volumes compared to, you know, how I was with 40K. You know what I mean? That desire just wasn't there for me. You know. Whereas I'm loving it now. You know, I like how the game plays. I like the people who play the game. I like the community with it. You know what I mean? I like being part of it, and I like getting like-minded people together, and you know, seeing other players enjoying the game as well. Like, and you know, being part of that, facilitating other people enjoying the game, that gives me gratification as well. Like, you know,
good.
Yeah, so you referenced that earlier, and we'll go back to that now. So you're looking at running an event next year in Dublin, right?
Yeah. I'll be looking to do an open tournament. I don't have any dates yet, but I will be organising. A tournament in Dublin. I've a rough idea, but I need to talk to a few people and get a few things, cross the T's and dot the I's. But yeah, I will be looking to run a tournament next year in Dublin. Yeah, at least 1, maybe 2. We'll see how the first one goes.
And you're already running. I mean, I'm saying event that you're already running regular events.
Yeah, we run a social night. Myself and a few friends, we started it up. The lads that run it with me, like, they've been playing BattleTech since like before I was born. So you know, they know their stuff. Whereas I mostly bring enthusiasm and a bit of knowledge, a little bit of knowledge, but mostly enthusiasm. But yeah, no, we started up every second week. We do a BattleTech night, and we get the function room of the pub we go in. And it's off away from the main pub, so it's quiet enough that you can talk to each other, you know, and you know yourself. It's you order food, you order drinks, you know. I've started to I've got a store set up now to sell a few BattleTech pieces as well, because it was hard to get a hold of them initially.
Right, because of shipping and COVID and all that.
Yeah, but that started to ease up quite a few more stores, and now that we've got the scene growing, there's a few more stores are starting to bring box sets in. But yeah, like I do that as well. Like, I set up a stall so people can buy bits and pieces if they want, and you know, we bring the mats. So I bring the mats along and get the mats out on the table, and then the guys have demo games ready, or they've got factions, pre-generated factions painted up. Like you were saying, having painted miniatures for people, so someone can literally just walk in off the street and we're like, there's the mat, there's the miniatures, here's one of the guys, he'll teach you how to play, and away you go. Like, we've had that a few times, you know, people coming in.
And then they're like, I only came in for a pint, mate. Well, Jesus.
It is always funny when people come into the function room, say if there was like a pub quiz, and they come into the wrong function room, and they sort of have that.
Like, what?
You're looking for the back room, mate. The downstairs. But oh, all right, Grant. What's all this about? It's a bit like chess, you know what I mean? Kind of ish, you know. Oh, all right, Grant. Yeah. It is funny. Yeah, it's crass.
I love that.
Yeah.
So that's a regular thing you're doing in Dublin. If somebody in Dublin, or somebody who wants to travel and just see what it's all about, how would they find out about the venue? What is a Facebook page?
Well, we put up. There's a few of the gaming stores throughout the city. We actually we design A3 posters and put them up. So like, there's a lot of the model shops and the gaming stores. We've got the information up there. There's a QR code on all of the posters to scan. That will bring you to the BattleTech Ireland Facebook group. We also have BattleTech Ireland Discord as well. So all the information is there. If you go on to my page, which is the Plastic Crack Gaming Facebook page, you'll be able to go through there as well and find the links and the images, and it's all interconnected. Or go through my YouTube channel. The information's usually in there as well. So there's a few ways to go about it.
Sweet.
Nice. Talking to Mrs. K. So you fancy going over Dublin for a weekend?
Just, you know, go see what it's all
check
about.
the dates before we go, right?
Oh,
yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
You tell me and I'll bring the mechs. I'll have them ready for you. So let's.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So we went to where did we go, John?
Warfare.
Warfare 2022. I've not been there before. It's at Reading. We did a whole bunch of videos, and John sat in a chair, and I did some chatting, and picked up a few bits while I was there. Picked up some scenery, but just a few bolt action scatter pieces, like fences and so forth. Try and mix it up. I got a pack of 50mm Russian farm, just farm type buildings, really. Because one of the things that I've realized is our 50mm boards don't look that different from our 28mm boards because there's a lot of overlap scenery. So I'm trying to break them out into different sets. Yeah. Why have you? Well, I'm saying why. I'm assuming not. I've never heard you talk much about the historicals, Dwayne. Can we not tempt you over to the dark side, mate?
To the historicals, I have been tempted. I keep buying Wargamers Illustrated and all those.
Oh, you got every plastic sprue that Warlord have ever made, then probably.
Yeah. I've been subscribed with it for about 1.5 years now. So there's a few bits and pieces that keep that have piqued my interest. And I'll be honest, like I've sort of gathered a bit more interest in the Napoleonic eras, and like you lads have a lot to blame as well. There's a lot of history, all these sort of niche pieces of history that seem to be coming through wargaming. And I mean, like I've only played one game of bolt action. I was taught by Alessio himself how to play Salute many years ago, and I've been tempted. I have been tempted, but it's quite. You know yourself. It's like it's either time or money. Either have all the time and none of the money, or none of the money and all the time. You know,
that's the age dilemma, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're young, you've got time and no money. And when you're old, you've got money and no time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been tempted. I'm surprised I don't have a bolt action army or two, because I would be very tempted. But
hit up Johnny's got 16 boxes of War Games Atlantic. He can send you on.
I can sort you out.
You can sort me, hook me up. We might do an exchange then. I might send you some mix if you send me over a box. Sound like a fair deal?
That sounds fair, yeah.
Yeah, we'll sort something out.
So picked up a few bits there. So we did a lot of interviews. They're going to be coming out over the next few weeks. I got a hobby question for y'all, because here's a not working project. I've got I got these. Well, these are TT Combat, so like Nissan Hearts or whatever, and to use on the Team Yankee board, and tried putting some camo netting over the top and painting it, which was a pair of tights that John had. And it really looked awful, but the paint's kind of soaked through. And I'm still looking at them thinking, I'm not happy with this, but I really don't know what to do next. So anybody got any tips about that? Be grateful.
Spray green, start again.
Spray green, start again. Get a new pair of tights and be disappointed.
Well,
but
yeah,
put, like a mesh over the top, and I tried to paint a camouflage on it, and that stuff, and it just
sort of works. It's too bright.
Yeah.
Mammy.
Other hobbying I've been up to, slowly. I don't know if you can see
Panzerle.
The Panzerle. Get towards the camera, mate. There you go.
Again, War Games Atlantic.
War Games Atlantic Panzerle. The great thing about Panzerle, you don't notice, if you see the uniforms, they actually have the tank crew uniform. So they're genuinely different looking to your other like earlier mid-war Germans. Ooh, there we go. There he is. Mistake I made with this guy is because I'm lazy with the paint pots. His hair is the same color as the bloody helmet covers and all the others, so I'm gonna have to repaint his hair. I was just like that. It was the nearest sort of blondish color. Then I realized, yeah, it's near because I've been painting the helmet covers that color. You've been up to much, Dwayne?
Painting wise,
what you doing tonight?
Mechs, more mechs.
Mechs. Yeah, sorting out different color schemes, coming up with my own color scheme sort of for tournaments. Sort of inspired by a very sort of I've been trying out the AK paints. The AK and paints.
That's another military modelers range, isn't it?
Yeah, they do have a military modelers range, and they have like these intense ones as well. But I've been trying that out as a sort of a tournament color scheme, bit of Irish flag and
you
mean
green, the white stripe, and there's a bit of
So I have to do an orange stripe on them as well. I think I have actually this Thunderbolt. He's probably a bit better painted there. So yeah, trying that out to sort of my own sort of color scheme for tournaments, and then I find because it's a different scale as well, I've actually started doing like sponge weathering technique. I don't know if it's coming up great on the legs or anything like that. But
I'm squinting at my phone, but
yeah,
I've got you on the big screen. Big old hunchback there.
I don't know.
So just using like
more on the legs a bit, trying to do sponge weathering because it's a technique that I wouldn't have typically done with the 40k orcs because it would take a year and a day. But because it's a smaller model count, you can put in this extra sort of time to try techniques that I've always wanted to try. You know what I mean? So a little bit of sort of the sponge weathering and just enjoying it.
Are we talking chips on the corner or are we talking dust?
No, chips. I've trying chips and trying to sort of concentrate more on areas of the mech where it would wear. So like the legs and maybe if it fell over a couple of times once or twice on the chest, but sort of trying to concentrate on the lower areas where, they're going to kick into boulders or if they're going through woods, where would the wear be on a mech, that's 4 stories tall? If it did actually exist. So maybe I'm thinking about it a bit too much as to where to wear. But
you find yourself going out taking photographs of dinged up JCBs.
Look, mate, you're talking to a 40k orc player. Rust is like a must.
You got all the rust variants.
That many pictures of like cranes rusting or like aircraft, be it weathering patterns when I used to work in the airports and stuff like that. That's standard.
Garden gates. I found myself taking pictures of roof tiles because I was doing some tiling, not specifically your bit. It was something else I did just to see where the moss settles and stuff like that. And I tried my best to use it, and it still turned out completely wrong. So yeah, it was worth a shot. That's fun. Bit of the hobby.
It is fun. It is fun.
So I'll catch up with the chat before we finish up. Anyone downloaded the GW song Here We Go? I certainly haven't.
I've heard it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Gary reminding everyone he is indeed building. He's finished. So we've got like 15, 16 of them. There's loads of them. We're going to have a beautiful when it's all painted. And John's going to be working on the little knickknacks.
I have 2 tables and 4 chairs to populate this entire city.
Flags draping from the hotel and a French flag sticking out of rooms. Some of them be burnt and stuff. Got big plans for this. Big plans. That's gonna get to see a very different bolt action battlefield, but also fistful of lead 0-200. You know, I wanted when we do those games to be able to get really close in with those smaller things. And we picked up a cobblestone mat at Warfare as well. Got that. Friends of General Higgs says, quite by coincidence, turns out there's a great article in this month's War Games Illustrated right at the back. It's about some wargamers near Worcester, friends of something. Don't know. Great bunch of lads, apparently.
Friends of something. I think I've heard of friends of something.
Friends of something. Yeah. What did you buy, John? You have 10 seconds to comply.
Yeah. when you were doing your thing, I put up Ed 209 and Rogue.
Oh, did you? I missed them doing that.
Yeah. You didn't see, but I had already put those up. But I did buy that from Crooked Dice. I really wanted those for no other reason than to have a RoboCop and an Ed 209. I did buy a lot of other random crap.
Did you? We didn't really, because we were all knackered coming back in the car and didn't talk very much about our loot hauls. I don't know entirely what you got.
I bought some Forgotten World, what they're called, Fireforge games. I bought some Northman cavalry, some Northman infantry, and some Northman archers, because I want to make a single unit each of the Grudge Bringers. I don't know if anyone will remember from a wonderful game called Shadow of the Horned Rat. They're a bunch of Imperial mercenaries from the world that was in Warhammer Fantasy.
Is that the old Warhammer RTS game with a campaign?
Yeah, really crap. There's like 4 pixels or...
Yeah, mate. That was awesome.
Great soundtrack. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I also found a whole ton of really cheap Black Tree design stuff. So I bought like technically like 200 quid's worth of dwarfs, Black Tree dwarfs.
That guy was interesting,
$1.
wasn't he? Because that guy was like the future you. The guy.
That guy was literally. It wouldn't surprise me if it was me, actually. But yeah, so he's got a massive stash of miniatures that he was paid with by Black Tree for doing commission painting and stuff like that. Yeah, come along to my War Games Atlantic store for 50% off.
Yeah.
It was a good day. It was a good day.
Wardrobe Plays World War II has joined us. You might be interested, Todd. One of the interviews that we did was with Leon from Pendraken. He was there. So we talked to Crooked Dice. We talked to Pendraken. We talked to Warlord. We talked to, gosh, who else did we talk to? A whole bunch of people. The organizers.
Charlie Foxtrot.
Charlie Foxtrot talked to us a little bit about his design process. He was a fun guy to hang out with. Cool. Alad says you should join the dark side, Dwayne. Join the dark side of historical gaming.
I have too many mechs to paint, mate. I have too many mechs to paint.
You need to paint 15 mil tanks.
If you technically, you are painting historical, right? The timeline is so wide, so massive. You've obviously got some historical mechs there, right?
There is actually rules for fighting using World War II vehicles. There is actually sheets for, like, if you want to use a Tiger tank or a T-34 in BattleTech, there is actually units made up for them. Like, so there's nothing stopping you. It's 6 mil scale. And you know, there's loads of vehicles, you know what I mean, or infantry as well. Like, where did I get? I got it's not Q Workshop. I forget the name. There's an American manufacturer that does like 1 and 285th, so like 6 mil military vehicles, but I forget the name of it off the top of my head now. But I literally
micro something.
Yeah. It's just something like that. But I
They've
got
been
a load
forever.
of I bought in a load of contemporary and old school trucks, military trucks, just for objectives or for transport for infantry bases. Because I have infantry bases for BattleTech, like the whole combined arms aspect of it. It's not just about mechs, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's good crack. So you can literally have a bit of crossover. You know, there's hundreds, thousands of units in BattleTech, so you could come across a technical or like an old school tank and just come up with a scenario. You know, ye backwater planet. There's a T-34 here. You know, you never know.
Yeah,
a lot of people are saying GCHQ. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, I think that's or GHQ.
GHQ, yes, yeah.
They've been around for a long time.
Brad Durst is that there. Also, Alan is recommending a Tesco reusable vegetable bag for your camo netting, mate. I don't know how that would work. I think you might be pulling your leg.
Well, he's into his moderns, though. The boy was a soldier. He maybe knows,
but that don't mean what? I don't think soldiers use Tesco reusable bags for that.
Where was that there? Gary says 769, another great show. Been tempted by mats, never done it. I definitely prefer real boards to mats, but we're doing an urban environment. And that the problem with boards is where I'm going to put the damn things.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, look, we'll get a mat as a first step for this. Work on what goes on it. Worry about building a board down the road. Friends of General Hagen, buy that for $1. I don't know. Did you get your aubergine out again or something?
Oh, I'd buy that for $1. No, it's another RoboCop reference.
Right. Sucks 2000.
So is that. That's another RoboCop. That's a car that they advertise in the film.
Right. And that's the one that you said. Right. Where did you get to with the hobby? And I have finished with the main color. So I can now start going into the more detailed bits, the little red and white stripes and things. And here's one that's kind of pre-furniture. That's kind of what they're going to look like. Because John's dry brushed these and put some moss and shit on. But the color is going to come from the washing hanging out and all that. There's, a lot of stuff to do after this.
Yeah, the flags and stuff.
To bring it to life, make it look lived in. And I got some pink on these American Civil War gun teams. The Scania, where you get up to, bro?
I got 3.5 mechs of my Wolves Dragoon Star Prime Black is what I've managed to do. So I've 1.5 left to finish priming. It's not bad progress, all things considered.
That's not nothing, is it? That's not nothing. I have done the trousers of the super secret Grayfinale Games Commission, and that was it. I did nothing with a slap chop except look at it and learn that it's all about vegetables.
Exactly.
It's all about vegetables. GHQ. I'll never do boards, no patience or skill. Yeah. Arctic Conliff World War II, really interesting, unique, called Spearhead. Yeah, they're down now. I used to play Spearhead. It's all right. It's got great orders of battle in it. If you want to play at a high level, it's divisional orders of battle. Solving abuse, you can, mate. You come right for the tail end of it. Modular gaming. I said I love those terrain boards. Right. Scania, remind the lovely people where you are and if they're in Ireland and want to play BattleTech, where they can find you.
I am on the Plastic Crack Gaming YouTube channel. If you're looking to play BattleTech, you will find us in Dublin. We normally go to the Clonsilla Inn. Go into any of the gaming stores. You'll find posters for Dublin BattleTech player meetups. You'll see it'll be a mech. There'll be a QR code. BattleTech Ireland Facebook group and the Discord. You can get us through there as well. Or just go through my channel. There'll be links and information there. If anyone's visiting and they don't have miniatures, that's no problem. We can facilitate that. And we're a friendly bunch. I promise. We don't bite.
Unless you want.
Unless you're willing to pay top dollar, that's a different matter.
That's a service, right? Awesome. And your Plastic Crack Gaming is the YouTube channel.
But it's not crack, it's Craic.
Well, it's an Irish word, so it's like a compound word that I've made. So It's pronounced Craic, but it's Craic. Is the
Remember
one.
that, folks.
So plus
Remember
T
that.
Craic is probably how
Craic.
All right.
type it out.
If you're not a member of the Facebook group, you'll find links down below. With the Facebook page, that's just like information. That's kind of one-way communication. There's a Facebook group where you can share your work, but also you can get in touch with us. There'll be a post going up there soon. We're going to do our Christmas quiz again, just to show everybody how stupid we are. Each of the contributors is going to put a couple of rounds together in their areas. So, you know, James might do movies. I'll do history. John will do random ass sci-fi things. Just do random. Yeah. But it was great to get some stuff from you guys last year as well. It'll be a fun show. I think we talked about doing it on the 23rd, something like that. But get a few of us there, just as our fun little bit for Christmas. But we do need questions from you guys. I'll put some stuff on the Facebook group about that. Awesome. And in the meantime, thank you for watching.
Spelliarmus.